Did you know? After age 60, we lose about 1% of our brain volume every year. Even if we still feel healthy and sharp, it's not just a number. It's a quiet reminder that our memory and clarity are changing little by little, day by day. And what's more concerning is that most people don't even notice until they start forgetting their grandchild's name or standing in the kitchen wondering why they walked in there in the first place. Today, I want to share something small with you, but it could make a big difference in your memory every single day. Have you been feeling like your mind's a bit slower lately? Leave me a comment below. I'll read every word. Number 1, a short nap. A simple gift for a sharper mind. Have you ever set down the newspaper and forgot what you were about to read, or walked into the kitchen and suddenly stood still wondering, what was I looking for? You're not alone. According to the National Institute on Aging, over 40% of Americans over 60 say their memory isn't what it used to be. But here's the good news. There's a simple, easy habit that can help sharpen your mind again. It's called a power nap. Harvard researchers have found that just 15 to 30 minutes of napping each day can help improve short-term memory, boost focus, and reduce mental fatigue. And here's the magic part. If you've just learned something, like a new word, a small task, or simply remembering an upcoming appointment, taking a short nap can lock in that memory like saving a file to your brain's hard drive. I remember one of my patients, Miss Mary, 68 years old. She used to be a grade school teacher. After retiring, she told me, "Doctor, I feel so sluggish in the afternoons. My brain just isn't sharp anymore." I suggested she try something new, a 20-minute nap after lunch every day. She worried it might mess up her sleep at night, but 2 weeks later, she came back smiling and said, "Doctor, I feel like my mind's been recharged. I remember where I left my glasses, even some of my old students' names, and I still sleep just fine at night." If you'd like to give it a try, here's how. After lunch, find a quiet place. Turn off the TV and silence your phone. You don't need to lie down completely. Just lean back, close your eyes, and rest for 15 to 30 minutes. Don't nap too long. It can leave you feeling groggy and may make it harder to sleep at night. And don't worry if you don't fall asleep right away. Just relaxing your body and mind still gives your brain time to reset. One tip, avoid coffee after 1 p.m. Caffeine can disrupt both your nap and your nighttime sleep. Instead, try a warm glass of water or a mild herbal tea. Sit quietly. Take a few deep breaths. Let your body unwind and your mind rest. My dear friend, after 60, every moment of good rest is a precious gift for your brain, your memory, and your spirit. Do you take naps? Have you noticed a difference in your memory or mood? Leave a comment below. I read every one and I'll respond like a friend walking this journey alongside you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So each week we can meet again and I can share more simple, meaningful tips to help you age with grace and clarity. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I'll see you in the next video. Number 2, learn one new thing every day. Hello, my friend. There's something I truly believe in. Our brains are still hungry to learn. Even if we've retired long ago, a lot of folks say, at my age, why bother learning anything new? But the truth is, it's learning that keeps your brain young, sharp, and even helps you feel happier. Did you know? A study from Harvard University found that seniors over 60 who keep their minds active by learning one new thing a day have up to 30% lower risk of developing dementia than those who don't. Think about it. When you learn a new English word, try a new recipe, or even read a short article about history, your brain is building new neural pathways. It's like adding roads to a growing city, and every new connection, every small discovery, becomes a natural shield against brain aging. A story close to my heart. I once had a dear patient, Mr. Richard, 74 years old. He had been living alone since his wife passed. He often felt lonely, and his memory started fading. He'd forget his grandchildren's names or why he walked into a room. But instead of giving him medication, I gave him a small notebook and said, Mr. Richard, every day, just write down one new thing you learned. Anything, from how to bake an apple pie to revisiting the history of America. A month later, he returned with a sparkle in his eyes. He told me, Doctor, I don't feel alone anymore. I feel alive. How can you start? You don't need to learn anything complicated. Just try this simple routine. In the morning, write down one thing you are curious about. In the afternoon, spend 10-15 minutes exploring it. Through a book, your phone, or even by asking your grandchild. In the evening, write it down in your notebook. That helps your brain absorb it better. That little process, wonder, explore, and reflect, is one of the best natural medicines for your memory and your spirit. A quick tip: if you don't know where to start, try solving a Sudoku puzzle, learning one English word a day, reading a short poem out loud. Simple things, but they can do wonders for your brain. Dear friend, your brain is like a muscle. If you stop using it, it weakens. But if you light the flame of learning each day, you'll feel your memory and your soul coming back to life little by little. So tell me, what new thing did you learn today? Leave a comment below. I read each one, and I'd love to hear what you're discovering these days. And if this video brought you a bit of inspiration, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so we can continue learning and growing together every single week. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Number 3, brain games, exercise for a sharper mind. One of the easiest and most surprisingly powerful ways to keep your mind sharp after 61 is to play a game. Yes, you heard that right. Playing games, but not just any games. I'm talking about brain games. You see, according to a study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, older adults who regularly play mental games like crossword puzzles, memory matches, or Sudoku have up to 40% better focus, memory, and processing speed compared to those who don't. Why do brain games work? Because each time you solve a puzzle match, shapes or spot patterns, your brain has to stretch, flex, and connect information, just like a muscle being exercised. It's not just play, it's mental training in disguise. A story I'll never forget. I once had a patient named Margaret, 68 years old. After her husband passed, she became quieter, and her memory started to fade. Instead of giving her medication, I suggested something different. Margaret, I want you to play one crossword puzzle and one memory game on your phone each day, just 15 minutes. 3 months later, she walked into my clinic with a big smile and said, "Doctor, I remembered my son's phone number for the first time in years, and my mind feels like it's waking up again." Getting started is easy. You don't have to be a tech expert to benefit from brain games. If you prefer pen and paper, try a Sudoku book, a crossword, or even jigsaw puzzles. If you like using your phone or tablet, try simple apps like Lumosity, Elevate, or Peak, all designed with seniors in mind. Choose a game that makes you feel curious and relaxed, like a cup of tea for your brain, and play for just 10-20 minutes a day. A little tip from me: play with someone, your grandchild, your spouse, or a friend. A simple memory match game can turn into a sweet moment of connection. And sometimes that's just what our hearts need. One last thought: our memory is like a garden. If we neglect it, weeds grow. But if we tend to it, even just a little each day with brain games, you'll be amazed how your mental garden can bloom again even in your 70s or 80s. So tell me, what brain game are you playing these days? Or would you like me to suggest one to get you started? Leave a comment below. I read each one and I reply, just like a good friend would. And stay tuned for the next video, where I'll share one more tiny habit that could change your body and mind day by day. Number 4, telling old stories, a gentle exercise for the mind. Hello, my dear friend. I'm Dr. Patel. I'm 60 years old now. And if there's one thing I've learned after decades of working with older adults, it's this: memory is the most precious gift that time gives us. Some days, all it takes is remembering the sound of your child saying "daddy" for the first time, or the laughter of your sweetheart when you were both young, and suddenly you feel like you're living that moment all over again. But here's what most people don't realize. Telling an old memory out loud isn't just good for the heart. It's also a powerful way to keep your long-term memory strong, especially after 60. Why memories matter. According to researchers at Johns Hopkins University, recalling vivid past experiences activates key areas in the brain, especially the hippocampus, which is essential for long-term memory. Even better, studies show that older adults can recall emotional memories more clearly than younger people. If they take time to reflect and retell those moments often. In fact, a 2021 study found that seniors who joined a weekly memory storytelling group had 28% better memory and higher life satisfaction compared to those who didn't. Let me tell you about Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel was 73 when he first visited me. He lived alone after losing his wife. He didn't talk much. He was forgetful. He had trouble sleeping. I didn't write a prescription. I simply asked him, "Mr. Daniel, would you mind telling me the story of how you first met your wife?" His eyes lit up. He talked about a summer afternoon in 1969 at an outdoor dance, the green dress she wore, the Beatles playing in the background, the way she smiled. After that visit, I encouraged him to write down or share one old memory each week with his grandson, just 10 minutes at a time. 3 months later, he came back, with brighter eyes, a better memory, and a thick notebook full of stories from his youth. You can do the same, starting today. Pick a memory that makes your heart warm. Your wedding day, your first job, a special trip you took. Sit down with a loved one, or call an old friend. Tell it slowly. Tell it in detail. The more vivid it is, the more your brain lights up. Or simply write it down, or record yourself telling it. A beautiful gift for your children, grandchildren, and even for yourself. A little tip from me. Have a memory tea time once a week. Brew a cup of tea, sit with your spouse, your child, or your friends, and take turns telling old stories. The more emotion you put into the story, the more your memory is nourished, like watering a garden full of moments. So tell me, Jen, do you have a favorite memory you'd like to share today? Maybe your first love, or the first time you held your child in your arms. Share it with me in the comments. I read every story, like a friend sitting across from you at the table. Together, let's preserve what truly matters. Our memories, our feelings, and the beautiful moments that made us who we are. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take good care of your heart and your mind. Number 5, walking a simple step toward a sharper mind. People often ask me, Dr. Patel, is there a simple way to keep my memory strong after 60? And I always smile and say, yes, there is. All you needed is a good pair of shoes and 30 minutes a day. Today, let's talk about walking, a small habit, but one that can make a big difference in your brain health. Why walking works wonders. According to the National Institute on Aging, just 30 minutes of walking a day can help improve memory, focus, and mental clarity in adults over 60. How does something so simple work so well? Well, when you walk, you boost blood flow to your brain, bringing oxygen and nutrients with every heartbeat. Even better, your body releases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it as miracle grow for your brain cells, helping them grow, stay connected, and communicate better. A 2020 study found that older adults who walk 5 days a week increased their BDNF levels by 17% and showed noticeable improvements in memory within just 6 weeks. A story about George. Let me tell you about Mr. George. He was 68, a widower living alone. When he came to see me, he looked tired. He kept forgetting his grandkids' names, and he told me he was feeling irritable. I asked, "Do you exercise at all?" He shook his head. "Doc, I'm old. My legs feel weak." I didn't send him to a gym. I just said, "Tomorrow, walk around your yard for 10 minutes. The next day, try 15, then 20. No rush." A month later, he came back, looking brighter, standing taller. He told me the names of all 5 grandkids without missing a beat. And then he said, yeah, doctor, I feel like my mind is waking up again." Start simple. Stay steady. You don't have to jog or run. Just walk. Around your home, at the garden, at the mall, or your favorite park. Walk where you feel safe and comfortable. You can listen to music, walk with your spouse, or just count your steps. 30 minutes a day is ideal, but even 3 short walks of 10 minutes each can still do wonders for your brain. The key, do it daily, like brushing your teeth. My little tip, keep a small notebook to track your steps, or use a step counting app on your phone. You'll be amazed at how every little step is actually a step forward for your memory. So tell me, did you go for a walk today? And if you did, where's your favorite place to walk? Is it a quiet park, a lake trail, or maybe just around your backyard? Share it with me in the comments below. I read every message like a friend who's walking right beside you. Until next time, take each step with care and let your brain follow with clarity. Number 6, mindfulness meditation, a simple way to calm your mind and strengthen your memory. Hello, my dear friend. I'm Dr. Patel. I'm 60 this year, and every morning I take just 10 minutes to simply sit in stillness. No phone, no TV, just my breath and myself. Why do I do this? Because over the years I've learned something powerful. Mindfulness meditation doesn't just calm the heart, it clears the mind. You see, stress is one of the biggest enemies of memory. When we're stressed, the brain releases cortisol, a hormone that actually shrinks the hippocampus, the part of the brain that stores memories. But here's the beautiful part. A study from Harvard University found that after just 8 weeks of mindfulness practice, participants showed actual growth in their hippocampus. That means your brain can get stronger naturally just by sitting quietly. And no, you don't need to meditate for hours. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a real difference. A story about Linda. I remember a woman named Linda. She was 64, widowed and living alone. She struggled with sleep and often forgot where she put things. She told me, "Doctor, I can't remember where I leave my keys anymore." I didn't prescribe any pills. Instead, I gently said, "Linda, tomorrow morning, sit down for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Just notice your breath. And don't worry if your mind wanders. It's okay." At first, she was skeptical, but she gave it a try. 3 weeks later, she came back smiling. "Doctor," she said, "I'm sleeping better. I'm calmer. And I remembered my granddaughter's birthday for the first time in months." How to get started. You don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor. You can sit on a chair, close your eyes, and breathe slowly. If your mind wanders, that's normal. Just gently bring it back to your breath. The goal isn't to be good at meditation. It's to show up each day, like brushing your teeth, but for your mind. My little tip, set a daily reminder, maybe at 7 a.m. Just 10 minutes to begin your morning with peace and clarity. And if you'd like some help, apps like Insight Timer or Smiling Mind offer free guided meditations that are simple and soothing, perfect for beginners. Now let me ask you, have you ever tried meditation? How did it make you feel? Leave me a comment below. I read every single one, and I'm not here to teach from a mountaintop. I'm here to walk this journey with you. Until next time, take a deep breath and know that I'm cheering you on. Number 7, use your non-dominant hand. A simple brain workout. Hello, my dear friend. I'm Dr. Patel, and this year I turned 60. And every morning I do something a little strange. I brush my teeth with my left hand. Sounds silly, right? But here's the surprising truth. Just by switching hands, you're actually waking up thousands of new brain cells. Your brain is like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it gets lazy. But every time you do something new or unfamiliar, like using your non-dominant hand, your brain is forced to form new neural connections. And that's what keeps it sharp. According to the U.S. Institute for Neuroscience, even small changes in your daily routine can improve the flexibility of the cerebral cortex, the part of your brain responsible for thinking and memory. A story about Frank. I remember a patient named Frank, 68 years old. He was retired, often forgetful, and just not interested in anything. Instead of handing him pills, I gave him a weird little challenge. "Frank," I said, "every morning, write your name with your left hand." At first, he laughed, but 2 weeks later, he said, "Doc, I think I'm getting smarter." And the truth is, within a month, Frank was remembering better, sleeping deeper, and most importantly, he felt more confident in himself. Want to try it? You don't have to do anything big. Just start with small things. Hold your spoon with your left hand if you're right-handed. Brush your teeth using your non-dominant hand. Use your computer mouse on the other side. Open jars, pour water with the hand you usually ignore. It might feel awkward at first, but that's a good sign. Your brain is at the gym building strength. My little tip, keep a small notebook. Write down what felt difficult each day as you switch hands. The more you write, the more you'll remember. And over time, you'll notice your brain feeling more agile, just like your hands. Now let me ask you, have you ever tried doing something with your non-dominant hand? Was it messy, wide, or fun? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to read it and respond. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so each week we can keep practicing these small habits that lead to big changes. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'm Dr. Patel, always here walking this journey with you. Number 8, chunking and repetition. Strengthen your memory, one step at a time. Hello, my friend, as we age, especially after 60 bond. Our brains don't memorize things like they used to. Gone are the days when we could remember something after hearing it once. But here's the good news. We're not helpless. There's a simple technique that has helped me and thousands of my older patients remember things with ease. It's called chunking and repetition. Let me explain. Imagine trying to remember this phone number, 0978654321. Looks hard, right? But now break it down into 3 parts. 097, 865, 4321. Much easier. That's chunking. Our brain loves small, manageable pieces of information. When you break things down into chunks, you reduce the stress on your short-term memory. And when you repeat it 2 to 3 times, it transfers into your long-term memory, like carving it gently into stone. What science says. According to a study from Harvard Medical School, older adults who used chunking and repetition remembered 30% more compared to those who just read something once and moved on. A story about Helen. I remember a lovely woman named Helen, 72 years old. She kept forgetting her grocery list and often felt like she was losing it. So I gave her a simple trick. Break the list into 3 groups, I told her. Vegetables, fruits, spices. Read it out loud 3 times and walk around the house while saying it. The next week, she returned to my office smiling wide. Doctor, for the first time in years. I didn't forget a thing at the store. That joy may seem small to some, but for older adults, it's like a ray of sunshine on a cold morning. How to try it. You can use chunking and repetition every day. To remember a phone number. To memorize your medications and timing. To recall cooking steps or appointment dates. Just break it into small parts and repeat 2 to 3 times. Even better, speak it out loud, write it down, and picture it in your mind with your eyes closed. My little tip, turn repetition into a game. Each time you remember one full chunk, reward yourself with a smile or a cup of your favorite tea. Your brain loves gentle encouragement like that. What are you struggling to remember? Is it your medication list, a phone number, or maybe just what the doctor told you last week? Share it with me in the comments. I read every message, and I'll reply not as a doctor on a stage, but as a friend walking right beside you. And remember, break it down. Repeat it gently, and day by day your memory will grow stronger. Number 9, read and ask yourself questions. After. Hello, my friend. When I talk about reading books at our age, I don't mean studying something complicated or academic. I mean reading to keep your mind awake, your spirit alive, and as they say, to stay young from the inside out. I once asked a patient 68 years old, when was the last time you read a book? He paused for a moment, then quietly said, probably back when I was still working, and I could see it in his eyes. A soft kind of regret, why reading still matters, especially after 60. You may not know this, but according to a study from Yale University, people who read regularly live an average of 2 years longer than those who don't. That's right. Reading isn't just a hobby. It's a gentle workout for your brain. When you read, you are activating multiple parts of the brain. The language center, the imagination center, and most importantly, the memory center. For those over 60, reading helps preserve the connections between brain cells and slows down age-related cognitive decline. But don't just read, ask yourself questions. This is the real key. After each chapter or section, ask yourself simple questions like, what do I remember from this part? Which character stood out to me? Does this story remind me of anything in my life? When you do this, your brain processes the information more deeply, creating new connections between memory and emotion. That's what makes it stick. A story about Linda. I remember a sweet lady named Linda, 55 years old. She was forgetful, often mixing up her grandchildren's names. I gently suggested, try reading every morning for just 10 minutes. And after each little section, write down one thing you remember. 3 months later, she returned with a bright smile. Doctor, I remember all my grandkids' names now, and even the desserts they like best. It may sound small, but to her it was a victory. And to me, it was deeply meaningful. How you can start today. If you're just getting back into the habit of reading, start small. Pick something light and enjoyable. A short novel, a memoir, a folktale or bedtime story. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day is enough. And keep a small notebook nearby titled, One Thing I Remember Today. Here's a little tip from me. Read a favorite paragraph out loud. The sound of your voice helps your brain remember even better. Your turn. When was the last time you read a book? What was one thing that stayed with you? Leave me a comment below. I read each one and I'll respond as always like a friend walking beside you. Every page you read today is a building block for a stronger, clearer memory tomorrow. See you in the next videos. Number 10. Social connection and positive emotions. Sometimes the most powerful healing doesn't come from medicine, but from a hug, a heartfelt conversation, or the sound of shared laughter. We all know aging affects memory, but what many people don't realize is that loneliness. Yes, just feeling alone can increase the risk of memory loss dramatically. In fact, a study from Harvard University found that seniors who feel socially isolated have a 40% higher risk of cognitive decline compared to those with strong positive relationships. Why is that? Because every time you talk to someone you care about, every time you share a laugh or a moment of kindness, your brain releases two beautiful hormones. Oxytocin, which builds emotional connection, dopamine, which improves alertness and memory. These hormones act like natural medicine for your brain. A story about Mr. Bernard. I once met a gentleman named Mr. Bernard, 72 years old. He had lost his wife, lived alone, and began forgetting appointments. Even the name of his best friend started to fade. Instead of writing him a prescription, I made a simple suggestion. Join a book club at the local library. Find people your age. Talk, laugh, share. A few months later, he came back glowing. He said with pride, Doctor, I told a funny story in front of 10 people, and I remembered every word. That is the magic of connection. You don't need a crowd. You don't need dozens of friends or weekly parties. Sometimes just a simple daily connection can do wonders. Call a loved one for 5 minutes a day. Join a small class, cooking, yoga, painting. Say hello to your neighbor on a morning walk. Or laugh out loud at a movie you love. Even smiling at yourself in the mirror helps. A small tip from me. If you don't go out much, try keeping a gratitude journal each night. Just write down one thing that made you smile today. This simple act helps your brain release healthy dopamine and lifts your spirit gently. Your turn, my friend. Who do you connect with each day? Or are you feeling a little lonely lately? Leave me a comment below. I read every message, truly, and I respond like a companion on this journey with you. And if this video made you feel seen, heard, or simply reminded you to reach out to someone, please hit that subscribe button, because sometimes a simple check-in is the greatest gift we can give to each other. I'd also love to hear your thoughts, tips, or personal stories in the comments, because sharing is how we grow healthier together. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm Dr. Patel, and I'll see you in the next video, with all my care and gratitude.